Independent is here at Eco Hotel and Suites for USA Fair 2019, which is the first of its kind to bring in A-list companies in the US into the Nigerian market and hopefully for a partnership. My name is Oyebola Olubumi and you're watching TV Independent.
So with that, I would like to invite U.S. Ambassador Stuart Symington to the stage to please deliver an opening address for USA Fair 2019.
Maybe you can hear it. Just outside this door, there are perhaps 500 people trying to get in and join us. Each one of them, in the energy of their application and their intent interest in joining this group, is an expression of the demographic numbers that we just heard. I thought this was an interesting panel because it went from a man named Bismarck, who was quoting Einstein and talking about insanity, to a man named Lazarus. You
guys are comedians.
Who was talking about taking your best shot, not rising from the dead. With thank goodness, a woman in the middle who just said, either do this or be fired. But what was interesting was they were preaching to the choir. They were talking to American businesses and Nigerians about the reason to come here, and you're already here. So let me take it a different way. I just saw my friend Jerry Cunningham in the crowd, and it's interesting that the way you succeed installing center pivot irrigation systems a few years ago in Zamfara State is the same way that you succeed doing something well in Missouri, where I come from. First, there is a need. And you already heard just a second ago about how great the need is in Nigeria. But never think of Nigeria alone. Think West Africa, think Africa, and like Alhaji Ali Dangote, think the world from here. This is not a nation-state limited, Nigeria-only play. I was talking about citizens, about free men and free women who actually lead from your chambers, from your hearts, from your efforts, regardless of where you're sitting. That is what will drive Nigeria, Africa, and the world of free women and men forward. It will be leadership from citizens. But how are you going to do it? And the answer is you're going to do it one interchange, one sale, one product at a time. This will come as a surprise to the business women and men here. But there are an awful lot of people who somehow think that profit is a four-letter word. I'm not making this up. That somehow it is better to do something without the notion of a profit that will sustain it, because it comes from the goodness of your heart, and not because you desire to put a little bit more in your wallet. But for all you businesswomen and men, here is the challenge. This is Nigeria's great challenge. It is to create goods and services here in Nigeria that are worth more than they cost, that are true world-class products at world-class prices with world-class quality. Then it is to capture the Nigerian market. You've heard about that. And then it is, and so what we ask all of you today is to make that future with Nigeria and to make that future with America for all of us. Thank you, and make money.
Kick off our program by introducing our first keynote address. First, let me just say we have a couple of colleagues up on the mezzanine and down here with papers in hand We would ask that if you wish to ask a question of any of our keynote speakers, that you write it down on a slip of paper, which we will collect, and then we will have a Q&A session at the close of the 3 presentations. So please just raise your hand if you'd like a paper from one of our colleagues to write your questions on. So with that, I'd like to kick off the keynote sessions. Our first keynote address this morning will be delivered by Bismarck Rewane, Managing Director, Financial Derivatives, with the forecast and recommendations for the Nigerian economy during Buhari's second term. Mr. Rewane is an economist who's trained at the University of Baden and commenced his banking career at Barclays Bank International in the United Kingdom. Rewane has worked with the Central Bank of Nigeria, the IMF, in the design and implement of deregulated foreign currency market. He's currently on the board of the First City Group, Guinness Nigeria, Maiden Marine Nigeria, Top Feeds Nigeria, and Monument Bank PLC, amongst others. So with that, Mr. Rewane, let me welcome you to the stage.
We're going to start with a snapshot of the Nigerian economy, and we're talking about the structural problems, the current situation, the most likely policy options, and summary and outlook. If you look at this chart, it shows you that over time, the Nigerian economy has been oil cyclical. In other words, price of oil goes up, production goes up, the economy actually improves, and then it goes down, it shows the vulnerability. And when it goes down deeply, you have a recession. However, the revenue problem masks a management problem. In other words, because of the revenue, the weaknesses of your management style and all that becomes discovered. But when there's a weakness, then that manifests itself. So if you look at exchange rate over time, oil prices, inflation, aggregate consumption, everything shows a very interesting cyclicality. Next slide, please. Now, this is what we're dealing with. There's a recessionary gap means that if your potential GDP is growing at a rate faster than your real GDP, that means there's a threat of a recession. The opposite of that is what we call an inflationary gap. So Nigeria has had an recessionary gap, and we still have one, but it's reducing. One of the reasons investment levels are low. Aggregate investment is $66 billion in almost a $427 billion economy. It's about 15%. We need to grow that to about 30%. And thanks, Yewande is here, and that's all. The other thing is population growth is fast. It's at 2.7%. And so it's not a big problem if you're growing at a rate higher than that. But if you're growing at a rate slower than that, then there's a problem. Yesterday there were some results that showed that Q1 GDP was 2.01, which is about 0.6% lower than the population growth rate. But what is, you need to look at this chart, because if you grow at 2%, you will just be where you are. If you grow at 4%, you can cover your population growth rate. If you grow at 6%, you'll be able to grow and get full employment. But if you want to transform the economy, you have to grow at 8 to 10%. So it depends on what your objectives are. The other thing you have to understand is it's a natural wealth economy as against a produced wealth economy. That is, extract the mineral, sell it, rather than produce it. But we are beginning to see that change towards production economy. But production economy depends to a large extent on productivity and technology. There's a multiplicity of exchange rates. That's part of the problem. Next slide. There's no slide. And these are problems that won't go away now. Now we have negative total factor productivity. Total factor productivity means not just labor, but all of the factors put together. It's negative at minus 0.5. To put it in perspective, in China you have about plus 5% total, and that you can predict almost immediately what's going to happen over the next 5 to 10 years. So we've talked about labor productivity, If you have negative labor productivity and GDP is positive, it means that in spite of people's productivity, the economy is just coasting along. The economy is vulnerable to exogenous shocks. In other words, if the price of oil comes down, production goes down, trade wars or what have you, they are vulnerable. Over and above that, we have fiscal imbalances. Borrowing too much, generating too low revenues, and spending money that you don't earn, and having fiscal dominance. In other words, you have federal government 52%, state and local government, and everything we talk about is federal, but the federal government only controls about 52 to 55% of economic activity. Petroleum products, pricing mechanism of the export, and pricing mechanism of external tariffs. Thank you very much.
I have to say, I've been a huge fan of Bismarck's remarks. We're treated on a monthly basis at the Lagos Business Breakfast Series here to his brilliant insights, and I've come to rely on his monthly briefings to keep me up to date on what's going on in the Nigerian economy. So thank you very much for being with us today. Next, I'd like to introduce our next keynote speaker, Yewande Sadiku, who is the Executive Secretary CEO of the Nigerian Investment Promotion Commission. She will speak on why companies, both U.S. and Nigerian, should invest and do business in Nigeria. Ms. Sadiku has been an Executive Secretary, CEO of NIPC since November of 2016. Prior to her current role, she was the Executive Director responsible for Stanbic Group's corporate investment banking business. Also interestingly, Ms. Sadiku has an interest in developing investment in the Nigerian movie industry, film industry, which I found fascinating. And she's invested quite a bit of herself and her talent in that regard. So, Yewande.
Thank you. Good morning, all. So it's always interesting speaking after an economist. I find it telling you all the bad news, so I don't need to put that in my presentation. But I believe in engaging with investors that balance is important. I found from my many years in investment banking that investors are not afraid of risk. They just want to know what it is so we can plan how to mitigate it. So he's told you the bad news, so I will try to give you some of the good news. Governors are engaged in very proactive, forward-moving reforms. They'll look like the state in a worse off position than it is, but we thought it was important to give investors context as to where the states are doing on the doing business ranking. The NIPCES is a certification program that NIPC designed to help prepare states to receive investors. It's an investor friendliness ranking, if you like. And it helps them to prepare for investors on the basis of 3 standards: information, property, and marketing. So they have right and ready, before investors even approach them, the kind of information based on our own engagements with investors we find that investors will require. And then they have a sense of the different types of real estate that they have, how ready they are for transfer to investors, their access to services and the like. While a lot of the work that we do is at policy level, we realize that when investors have challenges, the challenges pinch them specifically. So this OPIC lab, we're still doing pilot runoff, but the object of the OPIC lab is that when an investor comes to us with a problem, we'd like to commit that within a 3-week period, we put them in the lab with the government agencies that they have challenges with. So instead of writing letters to 10 different government agencies, hoping to get one solution, we put all 10 government agencies in one room with investors, so all of us have a single view of what investors' challenges are. Then we have many iterative engagements amongst ourselves as government agencies with the hope of coming to a single, all-of-government solution to the investors' problems. The Vice President has adopted this now for the economic management team. So on a quarterly basis, we report to him the challenges that we have not been able to deal at technical level, that the ministers in the meeting that he will now chair on a quarterly basis will deal with. But our expectation, and because the one-stop center involves all agencies, is that we will, apart from dealing on the policy level, deal with investor issues as they arise. I don't like, favoritism, arbitrary. So the object is when we come up with a resolution for one investor, we can, on that basis, then work with ministries to craft policies, because we would have found a practical solution by dealing with one person's problems. Our policy advocacy role is where many find value, where we initiate or support measures that are aimed at improving Nigeria's business environment. The most certain way to succeed is always to try just one more time. There are challenges with doing business in Nigeria, but it is a market that is impossible to ignore. And certainly you cannot say that you are in Africa if you are not in Nigeria. Thank you very much and welcome to Nigeria.
Thank you, Ms. Sadiku. So, last but certainly not least, I'd like to introduce our third keynote speaker, Mr. Lazarus Mbazo, President of the ABC, which is the AmCham, the US AmCham here in Nigeria, as well as CEO of GE's business operations in Nigeria. He'll be speaking to us on the role and impact of US business on the Nigerian economy. Prior to assuming his position at GE, where he's been since 2012, Mr. Mbazo held several positions within GE marketing, finance, and strategy, and he joined the corporation back in 2004. Thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer. Since I don't have a PowerPoint, I am definitely the non-economist in the panel. I really just want to say Bismarck has been a fountain of insights for a very long time. We really enjoy the data and the information. Really just very proud and impressed by Yewande. She's brought in new energy, new insights, new leadership to NIPC, and you can see the results of all of that. As an American company investor in Nigeria, we are just so thrilled to be partnering with NIPC at every stage. But in any case, Your Excellency, Honorable Minister of Trade and Investments, whom we expect to be here soon, Your Excellency, Ambassador Stuart Symington, who also will be here, and Consul General John Bray, fellow members of the American Business Council, exhibitors, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I want to also add my voice in welcoming all of you to US Fair 2019, a gathering of exhibitors. My friends from Rendezvous were here. That's a good example of a new, smaller company coming in to the US, to Nigeria. Today, as I said earlier, Nigeria is the largest trade partner for US within sub-Saharan Africa and accounted for over 45% of the total trade in 2007 at about 80 billion. But this has declined. Nonetheless, as recently as 2017, Nigeria stood for at least 25% of all the trade that the US has with the sub-Saharan African region at $39 billion. A lot of numbers I'm throwing out there, but these are quite impressive numbers, and these all give credence to the value and impact of trade between the two countries and underscores the role and importance of the American Business Council. The Council, as an affiliate of the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, partners with stakeholders on both sides to improve the ease of doing business, to develop and attract investment, as well as to drive conversations at all levels to improve and grow business operations and investments into Nigeria.
By the Minister of Trade and Investment, His Excellency Okechukwu Enelamah. Mr. Enelamah, thank you.
One of my finest moments in terms of my relationship with him happened in Washington. We went with our president to a meeting with President Trump and his cabinet. And, President Trump asked us some pretty tough questions. vice versa. And in my view, you know, in the role of a true ambassador, he so well interpreted what we're saying to Trump that when he finished his remarks, Trump said no further questions. I don't think Let me also appreciate all the distinguished guests that are here, both the American business, American diplomatic community, and all the high-ranking officials here, and our own business community, as well as high-ranking officials that are here. I'm so honored to be here and to bring you the good tidings and best wishes for our government, especially our Vice President, who has asked me to represent him to the EU. Obviously, I wanted to be here, but you know, we're in a very important stage of the journey of the country, so he's had to, cover for himself and the President, who, as you know, is away and returning soon. So on behalf of His Excellency, our Vice President, Professor Yewande Sadiku, I'm pleased to join previous speakers as well as the organizers in welcoming everyone to this first USA Fair, conference and exhibition taking place here in Nigeria. And again, it's just it's a very practical way of demonstrating what we often talk about, which is how do you actually engage and get results. So I just want to applaud the organizers. I want to appreciate the ambassador again and the entire US embassy team. Again, I'll share another personal story. I had to go in there for something actually personal, and they had invited me to this, and they came to see me there to remind me of this event. I already knew about it, but it shows you the commitment they have to making sure that this event will be a success, and I really applaud that effort. The many sectors that are represented here, including information and communications technology, agriculture and agro-allied, fast-moving consumer goods, oil and gas, education, power, automobile, and so on, represent the areas where Nigeria should be partnering with America, for the greater good. There are also participants from other West African countries, and like the ambassador said, we view Nigeria. I just came from another event where somebody spoke very well of Ghana, and I said what's good for Ghana is good for Nigeria, because frankly, countries do develop together when they're in the same region. I don't buy the rhetoric that Ghana and Nigeria are competitors. I just don't believe that. I believe we're not just neighbors, but if we cooperate with each other, we'll actually build a greater West Africa, a greater Africa, and for the good of our people. So I think I also want to welcome all those participants from all the other countries. Noteworthy is also the quality and number of established Nigerian businesses that are part of this event. I understand that preliminary report shows that there are over 4,000 registrants, and this is preliminary for this event. I applaud the organizers again of this conference and exhibition for putting together such a high impact and event of high relevance. An NTM recently listed on the Nigerian Stock Exchange, and of course the ambassador talked about Microsoft announcing their plans to launch a development center in Lagos. Buhari, takes off for the second time. He's a focus on jobs. Not that he wasn't there before, but they're going to see a renewed interest and commitment to say, we want the thing that will deliver the jobs to our people. All roads must pass through jobs, because we need it, and we know that we can't do it alone. We need the partnerships, we need the cooperation, and we certainly need the sort of linkages that you get from win-win trade, win-win investments, and win-win industrialization. And we want to leverage events like this, and continue to build on the existing foundation and relationship that we already have, particularly as we do business in Nigeria and with Nigeria. Thank you so much.
I'd like to invite all of our keynote speakers to please join us on the stage now for a Q&A session, if you would. Just as a reminder to those of you who would like to ask a question, we have people circulating with paper that you can write your questions on. We will then collect the questions and I will post them to the speaker panel up here. So from some of our exhibiting companies, this one comes from William with NC3 Planners. What factors are driving inflation and what impact will a rise in inflation have on future growth in Nigeria?
Nigeria and South Africa average growth put together is about 0.6%, between Nigeria's 2%, 1.9% in South Africa. While the next 5 countries are growing at about almost 7%. So you can see that there are structural problems that are leading to constrictions, and these constrictions are restricting growth at the same time at a high cost. But these are transient problems in the sense that any major breakthrough, maybe in rail investment, any major breakthrough in road construction, any major breakthrough in pipelines and depot investments could actually alter the trajectory of inflation. So you can see inflation actually over the next 4 or 5 years coming down to around 7%, while growth itself will be increasing to about 4 or 5% in this period, provided, like I said at the beginning, certain bold decisions are made and implemented. So it's the courage and the audacity to take those decisions, like I said. We need brains and guts to be able to achieve this.
Thank you, Mr. Rewane.
This issue is really quite important for a company like GE and a number of the sort of industrial companies that are operating in Nigeria. Obviously, one of the aspirations of the country is to industrialize. Okay. The goal of industrialization is to create local jobs. And for us, when we think about how do we sort of key into that, it basically translates into how do we localize a lot of the things that we do, right, in terms of our supply chain. If we have to import everything into Nigeria as a result of just the cost, the non-competitive nature of the cost structure here, then obviously the goals of the country to achieve industrialization, to achieve local supply chain that is sustainable as a backbone to the growth of the economy is not going to be achieved. So cost is really important at the very basic materials level, but also across the rest of the supply chain of the things that we want. Where you're doing the power plant, we want to clean out the scope of work, the significant scope of work that is done here. But if in the end, the country is not competitive in terms of cost, you're going to import basically the entire thing. And that puts the development and the aspiration of the country further far behind. So cost is really important in terms of the actual, inputs. Okay, not just the social cost and the complications of things like that.
Thank you. Our next question is from Michael with Baker Hutchinson for Yewande Sadiku. What, in your opinion, is the percentage failure rate of foreign investments in Nigeria, and why do they fail? That's a bit of a loaded question.
What is my view on the percentage failure rate of foreign companies? I'm not sure if I can even take a reasonable guesstimate, but why companies fail, I can provide a sense of. One of the things that we see is the choice of partner. I mean, if you start with the wrong domestic partner, from day one you could be fighting. So it's almost a case of utilization, but not so much about the input cost, but the manner in which the country is engaged and the manner in which business is carried on. And I find, corruption is obviously, topical, and we all know that it happens. But I believe very strongly, from my own professional experience, that it is possible to do business in Nigeria without it. But there are certain types of opportunities that will simply not be open to you. So it's important to know those. But the percentage numbers, I don't know.
Great, thank you.
My name is Worku Gachou. I'm the Managing Director for Africa at the Overseas Private Investment Corporation. OPIC is the U.S. government's development finance institution. We provide loans, financing, and investments, political risk insurance to help the private sector grow and invest in frontier emerging markets. So I oversee our Africa portfolio. We have about $6.2 billion of total exposure right now throughout the continent. And it's an exciting time because we recognize the opportunities and the potential for development here. So we try to leverage our money to mobilize additional capital to grow in all sectors: agriculture, manufacturing, transport, logistics, education, technology. So we've committed last year $200 million to UBN to support financing for women-owned, women-led, and women-benefiting SMEs. One of the tools that we have at our disposal is to support financial institutions on the continent in their lending efforts, either through our on-lending or through guarantees. So that's an example of the type of investments that's an example of the type of investments that we can do. To the street fair. Well, it's great. So a lot of the companies that are here, the private sector that's here, one of the we've heard from the community, from research studies, is the difficulties in securing access to financing has been the real hindrance to growth. So this is a great opportunity for us to meet with the private sector leaders and to understand what are their constraints to finance, and to figure out, does our financial products fit in any of their business models to help them grow and succeed. SMEs are looking for smaller amounts of financing where the cost of our transactions, right, sometimes make it difficult. So we will then lend money to local financial institutions like UBN and have them lend to SMEs.
Connecting US businesses with Nigeria, both existing and new. And the interesting thing is that quite a few of them are actually active in the field of infrastructure. And as you know, our infrastructure needs are so large that we do need partners to get Nigeria to where we want it to be. So in addition to what government is already doing, we have real ambition and interest in attracting other infrastructure players across the value chain to deliver infrastructure for our people. Well, I mean, in terms of our ambition, we would like to see upwards of $100 billion worth of infrastructure invested in Nigeria over the next 4 to 5 years. And you will agree with me that to do that, we need partners to do that.
You spoke about renewed focus on jobs. How are you going to achieve this?
Well, we've already talked about one. As I said, if you provide the infrastructure, then a lot of people can innovate, a lot of people can be entrepreneurial, and we certainly can get a lot of people working either for themselves or smaller businesses, and as well as large ones. The second thing we're doing is to make sure that in those sectors where we have an advantage, comparative advantage, like agriculture, like cotton, textile and garments, like petrochemicals, that we actually provide the industrial infrastructure again so that people can do that. And then of course to refocus on training and capacity building, again working with partners.
And to what extent do you also think that the slow growth of our GDP will also inhibit these projections as well?
Well, the thing about growth is a result of what you're doing, and good growth also creates jobs. So it's something that you do for yourself. Growth doesn't just happen. Growth comes out of implementing your policies well, and that's why we're so focused on implementing the economic recovery and growth plan, implementing our ambitions to build out our infrastructure, implementing our commitment to attracting investment, and finally the focus on industrial infrastructure that I talked about earlier. Thank you very much.
Would you like to talk to us about what Okechukwu does?
Yeah, sure. So we are Kellogg Tolaram Nigeria Limited. So this JV happened between Kellogg's and Tolaram in 2015, August 2015. So last year actually, in 2017, the factory was established. We launched a factory over here, and since then, from January 2018, we have been selling Kellogg's products made in Nigeria. So it's been more than a year that our highest selling SKU is Kellogg's Cocoa Pops. So we've been selling that. Along with that, we've just launched Munchit, which is also another product under Kellogg's. It's been 4 to 5 months of launch. This is the first random extruded snack in Nigeria. We have come in 2 flavors. One is cheese and another one is chicken. So today's fair for us was a great opportunity to know about these investments that are happening from US in Nigeria. All these companies that are involved in it. Kellogg's was mentioned in it. We've been part of it, and we are enjoying this journey now. The only hope is that we can try and localize as much as possible whatever raw materials that we are getting. That's what we are looking forward to as a business, as a company today. But as serving this country and trying to explore as much as possible the opportunities that lies over here, we are completely doing that. Thank you so much.
Well, you can see around us there are hundreds and perhaps thousands of people. So it gives us access to consumers, allows us to talk to the market and business in Nigeria. We've been present here for over 10 years, but this is a great platform in order to meet new people and make new business partners. We are the developer of Alaro City, which is a new city development in the Lekki Free Zone. It's 2,000 hectares, and it is, in fact, a new city. So it's planned for residential, commercial offices, shops, retail, parks, and then also a logistics and warehousing component. It's a partnership with the Lagos State government, and we are the international developer in that partnership.
Good morning.
So good morning, Mr. Brent. Talk to us about the fair.
Sure. So USA Fair 2019, this is our first year, our inaugural event. We were looking to bring many new American companies to the market. You know, a lot of American companies are exploring Africa. They're exploring Nigeria. They don't understand it well. So about a year ago, as the minister mentioned, we started the U.S.-Nigeria Commercial and Investment Dialogue with the real purpose of deepening the engagement between Nigerian and American companies. And so we thought, what a better way to do that than create a platform where we can introduce these new companies to the marketplace. So as you saw, we started today with some really excellent presentations about what the market opportunities and economic opportunities are in Nigeria. Later this afternoon, we're going to talk and dive deep into some of the real critical issues like the supply chain. How do you deal with logistics? What about the standards and regulatory environment? Tomorrow I'm very excited because each of the 33 companies will have 20 minutes of fame. What I mean by that is they'll be able to make their own value proposition pitch to the Nigerian market. And that will take place here as well, upstairs, and we welcome relevant companies in those sectors to participate. And then the final day, you know, our goal is to really get to the deal. It will only be successful for the American companies if they can walk away with some new Nigerian partnerships. So on the third day, we have set up individualized one-on-one meetings. We've been working with the American companies now for a couple of months to understand what their specific objectives are. And so we really are going to walk away at the end of the day, hopefully, with some new partnerships in hand.
Okay, sir, like somebody rightly mentioned, we know that American business is mostly, they are mostly interested in the oil and gas and then IT sectors, but we don't see so much interest in the maritime sector. What is the plan this time?
Okay, no, that's a great question. We heard that maritime theme earlier as well. It is true, American companies excel in oil and gas. That's a big part of our economy, as well as ICT. That is the new economy, right? And so we've had great demand from ICT companies and power companies, energy companies coming into the market. With regards to maritime, I will say we have engaged recently at the consulate with the outgoing governor of Lagos on their new maritime transport project, and we look forward to engaging with the new incoming governor in the same way. We have a host of companies that we've put in front of them, ranging from security solutions for the maritime sector to the actual vessels and planners to look at how do we move people from certain parts of Lagos that are congested to the island, for instance, and back and forth in a way that reduces people's commute times, reduces their stress, makes them more productive at work. And so we're really looking forward to engaging further there.
We provide large-scale national identity programs such as electronic passports, national identity, biometric databases, border control, so primarily national security related solutions, and we are a leading provider of those technologies, and that's what we do.
Okay. This is like so the days which are in need in this country right now. So aside from the security, do you see yourself openly starting into regional resource? Are the security there also?
If I understood your question correct, you were asking if local human resources are used? Okay, so in principle, HID work with local partners. So we try and engage local industry in all the solutions that we do, and there are several reasons for that. One is obviously benefiting the local economy and the local industry. Also, our solutions are very long-term projects, and it requires continued support, maintenance, and to be looked after, and you need presence on the ground. Therefore, the local partners work with us and carry out a large part of the support, maintenance, and ongoing implementation related activities.